I'm really sick. Hello, welcome to HITC Sports. Right, let's take a look at every Premier League. Let's take a look at every Premier League club and see what player will 100% be sold in January. Gone, finito, 100%. After all, it's me making a series of predictions. What could possibly go wrong? Arsenal, Granit Xhaka. If you think Granit Xhaka is sticking around at Arsenal after the way those fans abused him, you're having a laugh. The relationship between club and player is absolutely gone. There's not a hope in a cat's left ear that he's sticking around past January. Just no, not a fig roll of a chance. I think it's painstakingly obvious that this man hates Arsenal fans.
Big surprise, man does not like other men who spend their Friday nights insulting his wife online.
The man gets booed whenever he trots out onto the pitch. And likewise, Arsenal fans would rather give the captain's armband to a homeless drunk who spits at children. Anyone but Granit Xhaka. He's been linked with Newcastle and both Milan clubs. Lads, if Granit Xhaka is still in North London in February, I will hand on heart run naked through the streets of Newcastle. As if I needed to give the townspeople any more reason to throw their garbage at me. Aston Villa, Henry Lansbury. Henry Lansbury is not a Premier League footballer. My apologies if by some freak coincidence he manages to stumble across this video. All I'd say is get off the laptop and go work on your first touch. Lansbury's played 40 minutes of football this season. Dean Smith clearly has no use for him. His former teammate Alan Hutton even said that he's going to leave in January. And I, for one, subscribe to the gospel according to Hutton. I agree, I think Lansbury will be off in January. Maybe a switch to Millwall or something equally depressing. Christ, I sound like Paddy and Selma rolled into one. Bournemouth, Artur Boruc. Let's be honest, if there's any justice in the world, Dominic Solanke would be given his P45 and told to go work in a shoe shop. Anything but out there on a football pitch. But considering he cost 1/5 of Ronaldo, Bournemouth will surely keep him. Artur Boruc, though, will be tossed into the wilderness. The lad is already out of favour, got on the wrong side of Eddie Howe for attending a Legia Warsaw clash this season. Then again, pissing off Eddie Howe is about as dangerous as getting on the wrong side of Barney the dinosaur. What's he gonna do, smile you to death? Brighton, Alireza Janabach. Simply put, Alireza Janabach, yes, Janabach, has been an absolute flop. Let's not forget this winger cost £17 million back in July 2018. He failed to score a single goal in 24 games last term. An unmitigated disaster. Of course he's going to get spat out in January. He has to. He's been absolutely hopeless. Burnley, Aaron Lennon. Christ, it feels like Aaron Lennon's been around forever, doesn't it? He was playing in a World Cup 7 tournaments ago. He was making his Premier League debut nearly 14 years ago. And yet, he's only 3 months older than Jamie Vardy. Fair play to him. He's bounced back from his troubles with mental health, but he's a Premier League player no more. No shame in it. I mean, most players who start out at the age of 16, they usually burn out young. Or unless you're a genetic freak like James Milner. I can see him getting turfed out of some championship club next month. Maybe even back to Leeds. Chelsea, Olivier Giroud. Olivier Giroud is leaving Chelsea. He just is. This is a man who's hinted many times that he might have to leave due to a lack of game time. That was the reason he left Arsenal in the first place. The transfer ban was the only reason he wasn't tossed out in the summer. Now that's been lifted, Giroud, start looking for a new place to live. If he's still at Stamford Bridge in January, I will 100% lick a dog's foot live on camera. Crystal Palace, Wilfried Zaha. This is a big shout because most clubs who rely on one player to the same extent Crystal Palace do Zaha don't usually get rid of him halfway through a season. It wouldn't make much sense. It would be like ripping off your genitals midway through intercourse. It would not go down too well. But still, apparently Zaha's agent is in talks with Chelsea. We all know the man would rather chew off his own foot than spend one more minute stuck in god-awful mid-table. You know what? Why not, okay? I'm gonna say a big money move to Chelsea or an increasingly desperate Everton willing to chuck any figure sum to make their problems go away. It's a bit like Liverpool back in January 2011 when they were given £50 million and just 6 hours to spend it. When a club is that desperate in January, they will do anything. A bit like a lonely divorcee out down the local pub at 2:30 in the morning. Everton, Martin Stecklenburg. Yeah, this one isn't exactly going to have Everton fans reaching for the tissues. The arrival of Wilfried Zaha might, but for very different reasons. Martin Stecklenburg is the third choice goalie who hasn't played a single minute of football in nearly 3 years. It must be a very boring life. Anyway, apparently the club are willing to listen to job offers, providing some managers actually remember who the hell he is, and they haven't all forgotten him. He should get a move somewhere. I mean, for Christ's sake, 4 months ago he was tipped to become Keylor Navas' replacement at Real Madrid. Come on, lads, don't tease him like that. Leicester, Nampalys Mendy. To be honest, I'm hard pushed to find anyone that Leicester are going to get rid of in January. Maybe Nampalys Mendy. The French midfielder cost £10 million and has played just 1 minute of football this season. He'll be off next month. Liverpool, Quiveen Kelleher. I'm looking through this Liverpool squad and I can't really find any player that want to get rid of in January. Their squad is relatively deadwood free. The fat has been trimmed. Quiveen Kelleher, he won't be sold per se. It'll just be shoved out on loan. But yeah, he's the only man who's going to leave this club in January, so I'm just going to say him. Asked me this question a few months ago and I just said Adam Lallana. But surprisingly, He's actually doing alright. Man City, Nicolas Otamendi. I know it seems mental to think that Pep Guardiola is about to sell a defender when he's having to cram midfielders into his backline. But lads, Nicolas Otamendi has fallen so quickly out of favour. After that 2-0 defeat to Wolves in October, he's only played one game of football since. Clearly Pep is fed up with him, doesn't rate him anymore. If anyone's going to be sold in January, I think it's going to be him. Man United, Nemanja Matic. For some reason, I have no idea why, Nemanja Matic is linked with Jose Mourinho again. Does Jose have some kind of weird, unexplained fetish for all things Nemanja Matic? It just doesn't make sense. Making a 31-year-old Matic his first signing at Spurs, it would be enough to question the poor man's sanity. Did he not see Matic play all of last season? Anyone who laid eyes on that pathetic showing at Goodison Park can see it. He is finished as a top-flight footballer. Bringing him to Spurs, which is actually quite likely to happen after starting just 2 bastard games this season, I just don't get it. Newcastle, Ki Sung-young. Yeah, heavily tempted to quit the club in January. Is any Newcastle fan really going to miss Ki Sung-young? Whereas a year ago the club were steeped in a midfield crisis. The long staffs were stuffed in the youths. Isaac Hayden wanted out while Mo Diame and John Joe Shelby were ridiculously out of form. And you might say,
oh, but they could have recalled Jack Cole back at any time.
You should probably be burned at the stake for even uttering that as a possibility. Now though, they're actually quite strong in the centre of the park. There's no room for Key at the inn. He'll be off next month. Norwich, Todd Cantwell. You know what, I'm going to put my neck on the line here and I'm going to say Todd Cantwell is going to be out of Norwich next month. This man is one of the only shining lights in that Norwich team, and yes, flogging him in January would essentially be like jumping off a cliff, tossing any survival hopes down the toilet, but still, I think Cantwell looks ambitious. I don't think he's going to want to have to wait around to get relegated. I can see Everton coming in for him with a big money move next month. Just wait and see. Sheffield United, Leon Clark. I'm not really sure why Leon Clark is still at Sheffield United. Did they just forget to sell him in the summer? He's a bit like that broken tractor you just forgot was sitting in the garage for 6 months, by now coated with rust. He's a 34-year-old journeyman centre forward, given just 1 game this season. He's not even championship quality anymore. 3 goals in 24 games last season. He'll be off to a Huddersfield, Stoke, or someone equally desperate. Southampton, Kane Ramsey. I mean, the sensible choice would be Shane Long. You'd think a man couldn't survive a moment longer with his goal scoring record in the top flight, but I tip my hat off to this man. The lad is like a cockroach surviving a nuclear war. How he's managed to last over 10 seasons in the top flight with his goals to game ratio. Clearly he has the best agent in the business. So no, I'm going to go with a departure that would rock this club to their very core. It would send the townspeople into floods of tears. People will be driving their cars headfirst into trees after the first news bulletin. Fans will be slicing off their ears to numb the emotional pain and distress. It would be like when Robbie left Take That, when Zayn left One Direction, when my dad left for a bottle of milk. Heart-wrenching stuff. Kane Ramsey, he'll force a move. He just strikes me as the type. Nobody called Ramsey can be a good man. Tottenham, Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen isn't just going to be sold, he has to be sold. The man is a bubonic plague, rifling its way through Spurs squad. A general embodiment of ingratitude, a lad worryingly close to Dimitar Berbatov territory in terms of downing tools to force through a move. Yes, he's 27 and probably fed up with dedicating 7 seasons of his life to winning absolutely nothing, especially when seeing how well his former club are doing right now. He wants a move, preferably to Real Madrid, and not even the arrival of Jose Mourinho will change that. He wants out. If Daniel Levy has any sort of business acumen about him, which I think he does, he's going to be selling Eriksen for 40 million next month. Either that or he's just going to be waving goodbye to a world-class player next summer and not even getting a Fredo in return. Watford, Dimitri Fulkier. This lad has been at Watford for 2 years, and I'm still not entirely sure who he is. That is not good news, lad. Dimitri Fulkier is a 26-year-old fullback who signed for Watford in 2017 and has just 2 Premier League appearances to his name. He's seen off 4 different managers. None of them seem to rate him. Surely he'll be gone in January. West Ham, Carlos Sanchez. Carlos Sanchez has been a useless £4 million flop. I'm sorry, but he is. He's only made 13 appearances at West Ham. He's just 40 minutes this season. He'll be sold, given away in January. There's no room left for Carlos Sanchez, I'm sorry, but there isn't. Wolves, Jesus Vallejo. I could be controversial and say that Ruben Neves will be off next month. Raul Jimenez will tear up his contract and force a move to a Champions League club. But I don't actually think any of that will happen. Everyone seems to be on the same page at Wolves right now. Loving life, so why would any of their stars be off? No stars will leave in January. Jesus Vallejo, on the other hand, clearly this lad comes from the same school of useless footballers who somehow tricked Real Madrid into giving them a contract. Yeah, I know he's only on loan and won't officially be sold, but he'll have his loan cancelled and be returned to sender. Just you watch. That's the end of the video, lads. That was the most painful thing I've ever done live on camera. Although, to be fair, bathing in milk isn't going to be a barrel of laughs either. Anyway, that's the end of the video, lads. For nothing else, if you just want to take pity on my voice, then give it a like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.